Welcome back. We've been introducing you to the candidates for Wayne County Executive, which brings us this morning to a pretty familiar face to Wayne County voters, and that's Warren Evans. Warren, thank you very much for coming this morning.
Thanks for having me.
Let's start with the question that has me vexed about all of you who want to be in this race, and that's why this looks like an attractive job, given the long-term budgetary problems that appear to be there. An emergency manager could be in the offing, and as I've said before, Dave Bing will tell you how much fun that is to be the elected guy when Lansing steps in. Why run for this job?
I think the answer for me is it's the challenge.
Certainly that.
Yeah, and that's what the motivation is for me. If it was a check in a chair job, you know, I wouldn't be interested. But I think there are some significant challenges. But more than that, I think I've got a career of accomplishments that relate to those challenges. The ability to turn some things around, the ability to work a large budget but come in under budget, to get homicides and violent crime down 27% and do it within budget, to be able to turn around the Wayne County Youth Home that was set for its own emergency manager, a consent decree, and instead of having someone come in to dictate policy in Wayne County, we cleaned it up.
Now, I can't do this, but if I could tell you that an emergency manager was coming, would you still want the job?
He wouldn't be there forever. I don't want an emergency manager, and I think the governor will probably, at least in my estimation, give a honeymoon to a manager who gets the job. And I think it has a lot to do with who winds up with the job and the skill sets that they bring to the table. Seriously, the governor is serious and concerned about the issue. But I think a good manager might be able to fix it. And if he can't, you work with the emergency manager as best you can, still protecting the interest of Wayne County and its workers.
Money problems are only part of what has been the picture of problems in Wayne County government for a lot of voters. And a big one is, I mean, we've got investigations going on, we've had indictments. What do you do about changing the culture in Wayne County government that to many people right now seems run amok?
I think that's step one, and step one is transparency. And that is the disconnect now. On the one hand, there have been, besides indictments and those things, there have been sweetheart deals, you know, 40-year-olds with $100,000 pensions for life. Yep. And at the same time, the CEO has got to walk around and try to belt tighten with all of the stakeholders in the race. And it's disingenuous when you have, at least it's perceived that you're throwing money out of the windows on the one side, and then you're going back to working folks and saying, you've got to give more.
Well, I don't want to just hang the piñata up over your head here, but characterize the job that you think Bob Ficano has done as Wayne County Executive.
Well, let's just be objective for a minute. The county has lost population all 12 years that he's been county executive. There has been what I think is they've been remiss in not having collaborative ventures down the line to try to do things. If your general fund doesn't have money, there is still money available. The mayor of the city of Detroit is showing that every day now. There's private investment, there are federal grants, and the biggest thing that a county executive has to understand is there are 4 other elected officials like him who have a statutory responsibility to get a job done, and you have to fund them adequately. So what that does is you change the priorities. Prosecutor has to have the money to get the job done. Let's fund that. If we don't have enough money in the general fund to do it, then let's seek federal grants, regional grants, grants with multiple stakeholders. Washington loves because the likelihood of success is so much higher.
You anticipate a different kind of relationship. That has been a rather toxic one between the executive's office and the prosecutor's office, and that doesn't seem to be a healthy thing for fighting crime in the county.
No, it isn't, and it isn't for the direction and the health of the county.
What's your plan for dealing with this mess that is the Wayne County Jail? What do you want to see happen?
We have to figure out what is the least costly option. And at this point, I'm not positive, but what I do know is we put $150 million in the wind. And any discussion about recouping that's not going to happen. So what is going to be the least costly option going forward? Is it to get another vendor to come in and finish that existing jail site? Or can we get enough money for that existing jail site to fund what we would need to do?
The Gilbert deal, which appears to be on the table.
On Mound Road.
Last thing I wanted to ask you, there's this theory, and I've only got about 30 seconds left, but there's a theory that Bob Vacano is happy to see lots of different people in the race, including you, because the more people that get into this crowded field, the better a chance he has at running up the middle. And you especially might be able to draw some of the African-American vote away from the other candidates, and that this is sort of strategically working out for him. And I don't have very much time for you to answer it, but go ahead.
I don't think it is, and if you saw the look on his face when he found out I was in the race, no, you wouldn't buy that theory. No, I think that I've run countywide twice before. I've had 70 to 80% of the vote, and I think I'll do well in this city, Detroit, and I'm going to work hard.
Thank you so much for the time this morning. I know we'll talk to you further down the campaign trail.
Thank you.
We'll continue on Flashpoint right after this on Local 4.